Have y'all seen this gorgeous new wallpaper that Dollar Tree is now carrying? I have some fun and easy to do projects using these new designs. I hope you enjoy. For the first project, I'm using this craft panel that you can find at Dollar Tree in their plus section for $3. It is 12 inches square and I will be using 2 of these. Now I want to go over it with some sandpaper because it's pretty rough and I want to make sure that the entire frame itself is smoothed out. Then I'll wipe that down and you could stain this or paint it. I wanted mine to have a slightly darker color than what it currently is, but not as light, and I didn't really have anything that I really liked. So I'm going to take 2 different paints and mix those together to try to get the color that I'm going for. So I have a burlap color and then I'm going to add a little bit of a darker color, which is coffee bean, to just darken this frame up. And you want to make sure that you make enough paint to be able to paint both of your frames so that you don't run out and they'll kind of have a consistent look. But this is the base that we're going for, so I am going to add some more detail to this, but I'm going to paint just the frame itself on the inside edges, the outside edges, and the top, but not the middle, and I'll do that for both of the frames. It does dry a little bit darker, so now that it's dry, I feel like I want to add a little something to it so it doesn't look so plain. So I'm going to take some white acrylic paint and a Dollar Tree stencil type brush and dry brush this white paint over top of it. Now this is just a personal preference, you don't have to do this, but it does give it a little bit more character and dimension, and I'm going to do that over all of the painted portions. And let me just show you the difference between the dry brushing and the plain. And I really like the way this dry brushing is looking because it's really going to coordinate better with the wallpaper that I'm using. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other wood panel. The wallpaper that I chose for this project is this gorgeous sage green with these branches and white flowers. This is a removable wallpaper, so you can definitely change this out later if you choose to, but I thought this was absolutely gorgeous and it's going to look really well up against our frame that we just painted. So we need to take some measurements of the frame so we can cut our wallpaper down. I measured in several different areas just because it said it was square. I wanted to make sure. And then once I have those measurements, we'll flip the wallpaper over, go ahead and mark this out on the back side, draw our lines, and cut it out. I like to do a dry fitting before I remove the back paper and seal it down. I just want to make sure everything's going to fit and that I don't need to trim anything else off. Then I'll start by peeling some of the backing off and line up the 2 corners and that one edge and push that down. And then it's just easier if I turn it sideways, and as I'm peeling the paper off, I can push that alongside. And you can also use like a burnishing tool or something with a flat edge so you can go alongside it and push any kind of wrinkles or air bubbles out. And once I remove all of the backing, I like to go over it just to make sure that all of the corners and the sides are all pushed down. Now you could set this up or you could actually put a hanger on the back of it, but I have this piece that I found at Hobby Lobby on sale for 50% off that actually gave me the inspiration for this piece, and I think it's going to match perfectly. I have 2 wooden rolling pins. Now you can find these at thrift stores. You can find them at Dollar General, Walmart for just maybe $4 or $5. I happen to already have 2, and I thought it would be really fun to make something decorative out of this. Now, you're not going to be able to use it in your baking once you do this, but because we're using removable wallpaper, you can take it off later on if you decide to use them. This is just going to be for decorative purposes. You could paint the handles to match your wallpaper if you like, but I want to keep this natural wood look, and I also want to have about 1/4 inch of the rolling pin showing on each side. So I'm going to measure my rolling pin and then take a 1/2 inch off of that measurement so I can make my marks and cut this out. Of course, I also need to know exactly how long it needs to be, and then you'll have almost 1/2 sheet left over to create something else, or you could do 2 rolling pins with 1 piece of the wallpaper. So I'm going to peel that backing off and then just set my rolling pin on top of it once I kind of line it up, and then just make sure that end adheres well, and then as you're pulling the backing off, you just roll your rolling pin straight over top of it and smooth any kind of wrinkles out. This literally took less than 5 minutes. This is so pretty. You could embellish it with some twine or whatever you like. I'm going to use the other rolling pin with this wallpaper because I thought it kind of matched a little bit with the blues, but you could decorate this in so many different ways. These are absolutely gorgeous, and like I said, take less than 5 minutes to make. For this project, I'm using one of Dollar Tree's oval silver trays and some chalk paint in the color Mineral, which is like a grayish color. I'm going to paint this entire piece. Now, it's not necessary to paint the center and the bottom, but I did that because the light kept reflecting back through the camera. Once that paint has dried, we're going to take some white acrylic paint and one of Dollar Tree's sponge daubers. We're going to put just a little bit of paint on that sponge and dab most of it off. Then we're gently going to drag this around the edge of the tray to bring that gorgeous design out. You just want to go very gently. It doesn't take a lot of paint, and it really brings those details out on the edge. It's really pretty. Now, I decided to go back and add a little bit to the rim on the inside of the tray, and then we're going to set that to the side and let it dry. Once dry, we're going to take some Mod Podge to go over the edge of this tray to seal in that chalk paint. Because we applied this to the metal, over time it's going to chip and kind of break off and expose the metal. So to protect that and let it last a little bit longer, we're going to add a layer of Mod Podge on there and let that dry. We're using this beautiful butterfly wallpaper. It matches perfectly with that gray paint. We're going to flip it over so that we can make indentations all the way around the bottom of the tray, so we'll know exactly where to cut this. You just want to take your time when you cut it because it is a little bit difficult to see, but if you just take your time, you'll be able to see those marks that you made with your fingers, and then you can dry fit this in your tray to make sure it's going to fit properly. And then you can trim that up if necessary. Then you can take the backing off and place this in the bottom of the tray using your hand or a burnishing tool to apply it to make sure that everything is sealed and all of the air bubbles and wrinkles are out. You could add a hanger to the back and hang it up, or sit it on a plate stand, or even use it as a tray in your kitchen or bathroom. But I want to show you another option with Dollar Tree's rectangular silver trays. For this one, I'm going to use this gorgeous eucalyptus wallpaper. Cut it down to a more manageable size. Go ahead, peel the backing off. Lay this in the bottom of your tray, and I like to start in the center and work my way out to the edge. Push it all the way up to the edge and into those corners. Get a nice good seal on there. Then we can come back and trim the excess off with a utility knife. Just be real careful going around each of your corners, and because it's removable wallpaper, we could just peel that excess right off. Using some Dollar Tree magnetic clips, this would be the perfect addition to add to your desk area. For this project, we're using a battery-operated candle. I do not recommend using a real candle for this since this is paper we're using. I'm going to use some of that leftover wallpaper from our first project, which is absolutely gorgeous. We're just going to line the bottom of the candle up to it and then make a mark at the top so that we can mark that out and cut it down to size. We're going to do this one just like we did with the rolling pin and start by peeling the backing off. Set your candle down, make sure your pattern's going the right way, line the top and bottom up, and then peel your backing off, gently roll it around and push any kind of air bubbles or wrinkles out. This project is so easy and it turns out so gorgeous. Trim your excess off, and because this is removable wallpaper, I'm going to put a piece of Scotch tape right on the seam just to make sure it stays in place. If you don't want to wrap a candle with the wallpaper, you can take one of Dollar Tree's glass hurricane vases and wrap it the exact same way that you did the candle. For this one, I'm using some leftover butterfly wallpaper from the silver tray that we covered, and you can get so many projects out of these very large sheets of wallpaper. You could either put a battery-operated candle in the vase or some gorgeous artificial flowers, or even real flowers. I hope you enjoyed today's projects and found tons of inspiration. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to click that subscribe button right below the video. Don't forget about the notification bell. Select all so you'll be notified the next time I upload a brand new video. If you have a favorite out of today's projects, please let me know in the comment section down below. I always love to know which one is your favorite. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please take care, and I'll see you guys next time.